can we talk about something serious? And it's something that nobody really talks about in Hollywood because, yes, Hollywood is exciting, it's creative, it's a dream for many, but if we're being real and honest, Hollywood can be extremely cold and incredibly lonely. And I don't mean like, oh, I'm bored kind of lonely, but what I really mean is epidemic-like loneliness. Like you can literally be surrounded by people, whether it's on a studio lot, on a mixed stage like this, and you can still feel completely alone. And if you're early in your career and you're trying to break in and you're just grinding and hustling, this industry can really mess with your head. So today I want to talk about the Hollywood epidemic of loneliness, why it happens, what it does to people, and what I genuinely believe the antidote is. Because I am convinced that we were not created to do life alone. So if you've ever felt like you've been fighting this alone, this video is for you. Friend, welcome to Mastering Post-Production Sound. My name is Joel D. Catalan. I'm an Emmy-nominated sound re-recording mixer and industry coach. And friend, Hollywood is lonely. And nobody warns you this. Literally, you can go to film school, you can go to audio school. Nobody talks about this. So let's start here. When people think of Hollywood, right, they imagine the Oscars, a red carpet, Hollywood studios, big budgets, famous people. And here's the part that nobody really discusses, and they're not really open about this, but a lot of people in Hollywood are lonely. You might be one of them. I'm talking like really, really lonely. And it's weird because from the outside, it can look like you should be surrounded by all these people, connections, friendships, whatnot. But the reality is that you can be surrounded by people, but yet you're emotionally far from others. And I think that's why it hurts more. Loneliness is about being unseen. It's feeling like I don't really belong here. I'm doing this all by myself. I don't really have anyone. And a lot of people leave the industry because it's not that they're not talented, by no means. It's because they're isolated. And when you're isolated, that doubt becomes louder and louder and louder. There's that saying that says, if you tell a lie long enough, loud enough, it becomes the truth. And for some, that pressure is simply just unbearable. So let's talk a little bit briefly why I believe Hollywood is so cold, right? It's cold, it's cutthroat. I don't think the people are the problem. I don't think people are evil per se. I think it's the system. I think it's the system that Hollywood has created. Number one, let's talk about being a freelancer, right? You might work for somebody for 3-4 months, you're on a project, right? And you see those people and then all of a sudden, gone. It's done. You don't see them again, maybe some never, and others until maybe you get a call again from them. I mean, the truth of the matter is that relationships, like real, authentic relationships, they take time. They take time to build. And when you're working in a freelance system that a lot of us work on, I think it's just real hard to build these deep connections when everything is temporary in the freelance world. And the second reason I believe it's very competitive. It's highly competitive, this industry. And if we're really honest with ourselves, a lot of people treat the industry like this. If I help you do something, I lose because I'm now putting you and your career, your wishes and ambitions and goals ahead of mine. And that is adding to the competitiveness of what Hollywood is. And what that mindset really does is it creates walls, it creates barriers, it creates these facades, these fake, friendships, politics within the industry itself. And a lot of people, what they do is they protect themselves first. They protect their turf, their people. And so it's tough when it's that competitive. And here's another thing. In Hollywood, status, ego, it's everywhere. everywhere you look, from the highest executives all the way down to the assistants. You know, when you think about it, when you're a PA and you have another PA come on and you've been on it for a while, like you feel like, hey, I've been here a while, so I have seniority over you. And what that does is it creates this lack of authenticity. People start to become more concerned about what they look like, their image per se, than actually being a human being. Actually just being someone who's inviting, and someone says, yeah, come on, I'll teach you the ropes, no problem. And so that idea of status and ego, it's rampant, it's everywhere, me included. I suffered from that for years. So that makes it real difficult, and that adds to that feeling of being isolated, that feeling of not belonging, and that creates loneliness. If we go further, you think about the hours that we work in this industry, they're gonna absolutely kill and destroy your personal life. It's nuts. We spend so much time on the mix stage in post sound. We were just talking about today, more time than we do with our loved ones, you know, our family and stuff. And that's just what it is, you know, long hours, weekends, birthdays. I mean, the things that I've had to miss and stuff. One of the biggest mistakes I ever made was after our third child, I went back to work too soon. I put that before my family, and I learned. I made a lot of mistakes here. I could tell you, I'll write a book on mistakes. Hopefully help you save you some grief. But these hours will absolutely crush you if you're not prepared to manage them, and thus playing into this idea of loneliness, this epidemic of loneliness. And another reason that I believe Hollywood is facing a huge epidemic of loneliness is simply the fact that when people move here, when people move to LA, because LA is filled with transplants, right? So many of you, like, let me know in the comments below, you know, where are you from? You know, did you move to LA? Where were you originally from? But so many people move and they leave their entire support system back at home. Their family, their loved ones, their childhood friends, their communities, their churches, you know, community faiths, things like that, mentors, whatnot. And they're following a dream. They're coming out to chase their dream to work in Hollywood, and they leave their tribe behind. And so that plays into this idea of I'm alone, and it makes it so difficult to then navigate these feelings of loneliness because it's rampant in this industry. And I share all these things because it's not that if you experience these things that you're a weak person or you're not built for this or something's wrong with you, maybe you feel broken. That's not at all. The system of Hollywood itself has been designed in a way that real, true connection is rare. And this is why I'm such a huge believer of building authentic relationships. I hear somebody on the roof. It's kind of scary. Because relationships are everything. You know, I constantly talk about that. Relationships are everything in this industry. It's not just important to who you know. It's equally as important to know, if not more, who knows you. So it's who you know and who knows you. So let's talk about what loneliness actually does to people, because it can really affect in your mindset and really do a mind trick on you. You know, when people face loneliness, it's not this thing that you just don't think like, hey, this job's not going to work out. You start thinking like, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe that person, didn't call you back, but really you start thinking people don't respect me in this industry, and it becomes this real identity crisis. You know, it feeds into this idea that I don't belong. What am I doing? I'm joking myself. And it's a very tough and scary place to be, if we're honest. And loneliness, this just feeds into this idea of feeling like an imposter, imposter syndrome. And here's a newsflash. Everybody feels it, friend. Everybody feels imposter syndrome. I from Oscar winners, Oscar-nominated artists, especially in my industry, in post-production sound, we all feel it, that loneliness can also make our anxiety even more. It could fuel our resentment and bitterness. It could create envy, comparison, right? And that's another thing, we start being isolated and feeling lonely. We start thinking everybody else is getting the breaks and I'm not, right? And the idea of comparison is dangerous. It's scary, Loneliness can lead to depression, and it's tough. It's tough because I am a true believer that when it comes to doing what I do, doing what we get to do, and this applies to any discipline in Hollywood, that we are our best creative selves when we are taking care of our mental health, our emotional, our physical, our spiritual well-being. When we pour into that, we get to show up on the mix stage, we get to show up in the edit bay, on set, as our best selves. Because the truth of the matter is, we're emotional beings, right? We feel emotions. And if we're not taking care of ourselves, we're then moving to a place where we can cover up those emotions and we can cope, and then we come in here carrying the burden and the worries of the world, and we wonder why we're exhausted or we can't get through a mix or it's tough. And that comes across with our filmmakers. We want to be taking care of ourselves, but that's what it can do. Loneliness can really beat one down. You know what I'm saying? The crazy thing is that sometimes you won't even realize we're lonely, right? You don't even realize it. And some might think, well, I'm just not motivated, right? Or I'm not disciplined enough, or I'm I gotta grind through, I'm not grinding enough, I'm not hustling enough. But really, I think deep down inside, loneliness creates exhaustion. It's this emotional weight of being alone. It really is. And so there's this kind of long-standing joke we have on the dub stage every time we come to work. I feel like because I have done the work and I feel like I am fortunate that I do have those relationships, I've built those authentic relationships over time, we come to the dub stage and sometimes, honestly, it becomes like a therapy session. We'll be talking and we'll be joking, and whether it's life stuff, family stuff, sports, politics in the industry or in the world, we have a place where at least we can come and we can talk and kind of let it all out and vent. But yeah, I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful for those times. Now, I'm also a huge believer and proponent for real therapy, right? With working with a licensed professional, and that's actually something that has really helped change my life and perspective. Doing a lot of personal work because I'm a huge believer in personal development as well. But it's never going to replace real therapy. So, also, if you're watching this and you feel that loneliness of navigating the industry, I want you not to feel ashamed to go get help. I know for a long time before I actually tried it, I was not a believer in it. And boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. So this is my PSA right now. So if you're struggling, I want you to reach out and get help, because I think it's important, and I think you're worth it. I have been fortunate to be able to build communities, to find my tribe, to build support around me. And that, my friend, is huge. And I think that's the difference in the way I've been able to navigate the industry than maybe some other people, is because I have found my tribe, my people. And I think that's important. And that's why I think I share the story about the dub stage therapies, because not only do I have the support of my colleagues and my friends, and I've done life with them, years in the mixed trenches, but I also have that support outside of the dub stage. Like I said, taking care of my mental health, taking care of my emotional health, taking care of my spiritual health, my personal faith, spirituality. My faith is very deep and dear to me. Having spiritual mentors, having mentors in my life is a huge thing, and being able to build that support system you better believe that has supported me and helped me through the last 18 years in this journey, navigating the ups and downs, because friend, there are ups and downs. And if you are watching this, you can relate. You've gone through some ups and some downs. And if you're new on this journey, you're going to go up through some ups and some downs. That's the truth. The goal is to be able to handle not only the obstacles that come your way just on the job, but the politics of the industry, the politics of Hollywood, the uncertainties. We have gone through so much as an industry over the last 5 years, going back to COVID, and then the strikes, the writer strike, the actor strike, and the advent and the push of AI and what that's going to do, how it's disrupting the industry, what like that. So I'm a huge believer of creating a support system because, again, friend, like I said in the beginning, I believe we were created to do life together, not to travel this journey alone, and especially in Hollywood. We are wired for belonging. We were created for connection. This term of breaking bread, right? I love having lunch with my colleagues and my friends, and I think that's something really fun because you get to know people. You really get to connect over that. And isolation, I think it hurts so much because we are created for that deep, deep connection with others. And I just want you to know that if you're watching this video and you're struggling with feeling isolated, that there's nothing wrong with you. You're not alone either. And it also doesn't mean that you're behind, especially if you're navigating this industry right now. We're humans and we feel feelings. And I believe that we all need community. I believe we're all created with this inherent desire to belong to a tribe. It's the reason why I cheer for the LA Dodgers being out here in Los Angeles, or if you're a football fan, the Rams, or wherever you're at, whoever you follow, right? That's in us. It's why we say our team, we won the we're World Series champions, woo, So I believe that we're created with that sense to belong. I also believe deeply that we are created to believe in something, to believe in a better future. And we're talking about our careers here in Hollywood, right? Whether it's in post-production sound, production, maybe you're an aspiring writer, editor, who knows what, but we have a desire to believe in something bigger than ourselves, right? I sat there in the movie theater and I would watch these videos. I would watch, not the videos, these films. And I would just sit there in tears because I knew something inside me knew I had to be part of telling these stories. I had to be part of it, but I didn't know how it was going to happen. But I believed inside my heart and soul that it was going to happen one day. Maybe that's you. Maybe you feel the same way. Friend, I want you to pay attention to that feeling because we were created to believe in something greater than ourselves. And that's what I get to do every time I sit at the console, every time I get to work on an amazing project with the filmmaker to help tell their vision and story. I'm part, a small part of a bigger picture. Friend, I also believe, the last thing I believe is that I believe we were created to belong. And friend, this is community. This is what I talk about. This is one of those things that I believe is the biggest thing we can do to combat isolation. It's finding your people, finding your community of like-minded individuals. And so what do we do about this epidemic of loneliness? And friend, quite honestly, I'm going to be truthful. Find a group. Find your people, whether that's a meetup, whether that's other fellow editors, where you can get together, whether it's people in the industry or people outside of the industry. Find your people. Find your people to do life with. I think that's super, super important. And so I think there are 3 things we can do to combat this, some very practical things. The first one is to just name it. Just simply name it. Write it down, speak it out loud, stop ignoring it. If you feel lonely, friend, acknowledge it. Just say it out loud. I mean, for goodness sake, you could say it right here in the comments. Let me know in the comments below. Just own it, right? Because once we name it, the loneliness stops owning us. There's power in that, friend. And the second thing to do is to stop thinking that connection will just happen. We have to be intentional. Hollywood does not automatically give you community or connection. It doesn't, right? We have to be purposeful and intentional about building it. And so that right there is going to require a major mind shift, right? We must be intentional about creating it. Nobody is going to give it to you. And so the last thing that I think we could do to combat isolation in Hollywood is put yourself in rooms where people want you to win. Because friend, let's be honest, there are rooms in Hollywood where people do not want you to win. It's your job to do the hard work to find the rooms where people are rooting you on, that people care about your dreams, your goals, your aspirations. They treat you like a human being. Find those rooms. They are out there. Friend, I want to end by telling you this. You were created to belong. You do not have to do this journey navigating the industry alone. If you are an aspiring sound editor, sound designer, an aspiring re-recording mixer, heck, if you've been doing this for some time already and you feel isolated, you feel alone doing this journey, you do not have to do this alone. Go find your tribe. They're out there. But I want to personally invite you to join my inner circle. My inner circle is a group of like-minded individuals who root each other on, who meet monthly, who are encouraging, who are doing life together. And we're all better because we are monthly having a touch point. We're going deep. We're talking, we're encouraging, we're uplifting everyone, celebrating each other's wins, talking about challenges, talking about roadblocks. I got 4 kids. Robloxes, that's hilarious. So look, if you're trying to break in, if you're learning how to be a better mixer, if you're dying to know how to create better relationships, friend, I want you to know that you do not have to do Hollywood alone. And friend, this is exactly why I created my inner circle, because information is everywhere. You can find anything you need here on YouTube University, right? You can figure out almost anything. But community, friend, finding your tribe, finding support and belonging, that's rare. That's real difficult. I don't see a lot of people doing that right now in this space. And the inner circle has become that place for me and others. It's not just about education, but it's connection, it's encouragement, it's accountability, it's relationship with other post-production sound professionals who get it, who want it, who believe it, who are belonging and becoming their better selves. And friend, I'm telling you, for a lot of people who are in my inner circle, it feels like mini therapy sessions. It really does. But that's probably one of the best moments I have throughout the month, is connecting with them and to create a space that I wish I had when I was navigating this industry. So friend, if this video hits close to home, I want to invite you to join us in the inner circle. All the information you need to know will be linked below in the video description. So I invite you to come be part of something bigger than just yourself, because friend, let me be honest with you, you belong here. All right, friend, that's all the time we have for this week's episode of Mastering Post-Production Sound. If you are new here, friend, I want to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel. A lot of you have come by the channel, and I'm very excited to see a lot of people coming by. It's been great to read your comments, but did you know that I think it's like over 56% of people do not subscribe to the channel yet? So friend, this is my official invitation to subscribe to you. I think you're doing it. You guys are liking the videos, you're sharing the videos, because recently we've had an uptick in visitors. So if you're not subscribed yet, friend, do me a favor, click the subscribe button, click the thumbs up, share this video. It helps me. It's a lot of work that's put into this, and I would love to continue to be encouraged myself by seeing you engaged, by clicking the notification bell, and so that you don't miss any videos in the future. Friend, thank you for your time. I will catch you in one of these videos over here on the side or in next week's episode.